Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of AGI Geeks. We're here with Craig, Shannon, and Nancy, and we're going to go through some of the work-from-home stuff about how to get started, how to get the licenses you need, how to get trained up if you have the time to do that, and how to get certified, because it's a great thing to do. So welcome, guys. Thanks for calling in and doing it like this.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, John.
You're welcome.
All right, Nancy, you're going to walk us through the beginning here, and I am interested in working from home. I want to get my STK, and I want to get my licenses, and how do I do it? I mean, I know how to do it, but you're going to, walk me through it. I did
Absolutely.
it once.
No problem. So the first thing you're going to need is an AGI.com account.
Okay.
In the upper right-hand corner where it says login,
Okay.
you'll find options for logging into your existing account or creating a new account. If you are a new user, though, and you are creating a new account, please bear in mind that all of our AGI.com accounts need to go through a standard validation process for export control purposes. So please create those accounts using true and complete information.
And the real Mickey Mouse already has an account, so you can't use Mickey Mouse as your account, right? That's true?
That is a true statement.
Okay.
For sure. Also, one stickler in creating the account tends to be the organization field. When you enter words like student or self, so that's a gotcha there. Make sure the organization field, you are actually entering your true university name or company name or something of that sort.
Got it. Okay, so now I'm logged in.
Okay, so you're logged in, and you want to go right up there to the top again to the Try Us Out link. This link is going to take you to the two options that you have for getting yourself up and running with STK software. The first one, the one on the left, is the cloud. The cloud is nice because it does not require a software install and it does not require a license file. You just need a web browser. So it's great for our users that are on Mac machines. Below where you are right now are system requirements. You might want to review them first. You might also want to use that test your connection link just to make sure you have a good connection using the cloud. And as long as everything looks good to you, you can just go ahead and launch the cloud trial.
All right, we're going to give it a go here.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So here's my SDK is open, and we did a whole video, AGI Geeks with Mo and myself did, talking about how you use cloud, how you save your data. So check that video out. We're not going to go into those details right now. We're going to keep talking about the other tools. So there's my cloud, which is SDK running in a browser. And voila, there it is, which I think is French for SDK in a browser. I'm not sure, but
It is.
yeah.
I took French.
Okay. All right. So Nancy, I'm closing my episode of cloud, my session of cloud here.
I do want to mention on the cloud side, though, that you'll get that cloud trial for 14 days. And if you would be so kind as to complete the feedback survey, you'll get an additional 7 days at the end. So if you'd prefer to download the software, you can go over to the other side of this Try Us Out page, which is to download the SDK software straight to your machine.
And we're not going to go through that today because it takes a little bit of time, but I already did that and I have it installed.
Okay.
Remember we wanted to, this is something that came up, is we want to make sure that people know when you get the zip file, before you run the install, you unzip it from the zip file in order to install the package.
Yes. So on this page, you want to go ahead and get the SDK software. This is always going to give you the current version of SDK. So if you were to click on the SDK and add-ons button there, it is going to give you whatever the current version of the software is as we stand at that moment. But underneath there, you'll notice you also have a link to go to see all downloads.
Yeah, because so I'm driving and Nancy is voice driving. So yeah, that's the discrepancies here. Just tell me what to click on and I'll do it for you.
Will do. I wanted to point this table out because here you can get anything that AGI offers for download. So notice down the left-hand side, we have other versions of the software, older versions, all of SDK 11.x versions. At the top, if you scroll to the right, you'll find the softwares that you need additional installs to run. So for example, SDK Analyzer, SDK Scheduler, those are things that are not included in the main SDK install, but you can get them there through that on the top. And then at the very top of the page, you have, it defaults to SDK for Windows, but you can also go to SDK Engine for Unix. You can get your components license downloads. And you can get other downloads for things like license server software and that sort of thing. So really useful page there to get you installed with whatever you need to get STK fully up and running for you.
And the only reason you would want to click this STK only one without the add-ons is if you're in some sort of limited download environment?
Yes, and you need to be careful of that too, because that will give you what STK Basic, also known as the STK Free software, will give you. But if you're expecting to do things in other add-on modules like Radar or COM, you will not have downloaded enough software to do that.
The add-ons are pretty necessary for most
Absolutely.
people. Cool. All right, so I went ahead and downloaded that. Do you want me to launch it?
Yes.
Or are we still doing something on the website?
No, we can get to where we need to be from launching STK. What we need next is, we've shown you everywhere to go to get the software, but your software isn't going to do anything if you don't have a license. So notice launch the software and it says, you don't have a license. Do you want to get a license? You're going to want to get your free STK license there. So that is chosen and we hit continue. And that brings us up to the STK License Manager, which is a really useful utility for managing your STK licenses. But at the top of the tab you are on, Request Free License, we're going to want to hit Register via the web. And that nice and neatly brings you to the page where you can get your STK free license, but also pre-populates the host ID field. The host ID is also known in most of the world as your MAC address. And that's really helpful because that avoids us getting typos, one character out of place, and the license wouldn't work. And now you just need to say download the STK license.
And again, this license has nothing to do with the work from home thing. This is always free and always will be free.
Correct. One thing to know about it as this is going through is we talked about creating your AGI.com account. If you have just created your AGI.com account and it hasn't gone through the standard validation process, this free license will come to you as a 7-day temporary license that you can use while your account is going through the validation process. Once your account is validated, or if you've requested the license and your account was already validated, you will get the STK permanent license.
Okay, so now I kick off STK again?
Yes, and it should know your license is there.
And I don't have the latest version of STK. I have 11.7, so I'm going to upgrade that later.
And once that opens, if we go to Help and License Viewer, License Viewer is another way that you can review your STK license files. The STK License Manager was the one we looked at just a few minutes ago, and the STK License Viewer is found within STK. And that will also tell you what licenses you have, what kind of a state they're in, and what path they're loaded into, and things like that.
Okay, so I got my permanent free license, I downloaded my STK, and I already had a web account. Now I want to get the work from home licenses so that I can continue to work while I am at home.
So then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to agi.com /work from home, or you can go to the agi.com homepage, and there's a link there. And within this blog, down there on point number 1, is the link to download your work from home license. We obviously realize that a lot of us are working in remote environments, and so we made it as easy as possible for you to get an STK license and continue on with the work that you need to do. So these work from home licenses are valid for doing actual work that you would normally do in the office with your purchased STK licenses. So if you click that link and get licensed. Again, this will be a text file that ends in the .lic extension, always needs to have the .lic extension. Again, he's just double clicking it and it's asking if you want to install it, which we're going to say yes.
All right, so we just restarted STK to get those licenses to take, and you can see now here, Nancy, what happened? I only have 1 day left on my license. Can you explain that?
Yes, very much so. So our work from home licenses are a type of license called an on-demand license. All on-demand license, which also include other things like EDU licenses and virtual training licenses, but all on-demand licenses show as being valid for only 1 day. Although that's technically true, your 1 day license will refresh itself every single day that you launch STK until the true expiration date is reached. So don't let that 1 day expiration date bother you or fool you or worry you. It will be active through the expiration date that you expect, just 1 day at a time.
Awesome. And we had a bunch of questions about that, so it's good to clear that up.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to say was
working from home thing is, there's a lot of models and stuff that are already built into the software, and there's people that a lot of our customers work in either proprietary or otherwise restricted environments where it's hard to bring your real work home, and it's hard to get if you did something at home, it's hard to get it back into the office. But there's a lot of models that you can do that are 90% of the way there, that are a little bit more generic. So you can do this working from home with these systems and these models that we already have built in there. And then when you're done and you want to take it to when all this is over and you want to get back into your office and do some real work, that it has the real numbers, rather. It's still real work. It's just not exactly modeling the systems. You just take it in there, and now you have 90% of it done, and you can tweak those things. You can put in those parameters that may have otherwise been proprietary or restricted, for that matter. You can always burn it to a DVD and get it through your security. They scan DVDs, and they let you take stuff in, and you can load it on your SDK that way. So just because you're at home and you might need something in your scenario that you otherwise can't do out here at home, do something close to it, and you could still get very close to finding out things. Just make it a little bit different and keep those last little tweaks to make the real stuff when you finally get back in on the inside. All right, Nancy, how are we doing on the licenses? So I have my work from home license, I have my permanent SDK license, I have my SDK, and if I want to do cloud, I know how to go watch that other video about the cloud and the SDF. What do you want to talk about now?
Correct. The last thing I think we'll go over is we do have other evaluation license options. So if we go back over to agi.com and click resources, actually go to agi.com/eval. That's the way I still remember it from good old days. At agi.com/eval, you will have 1 to 2 other options of licenses that you can get. For our domestic and Canada users, you will see an option for an STK home use bundle license. STK home use bundle licenses are good for 6 months, but unlike the work from home licenses, they are only good for STK learning purposes. They may not be used for your work at home duties. So you can do STK certifications with it. You can go through the training on your own with them. They are one time only. They are also on-demand licenses, so you will also see the 1-day expiration date warning. And something I neglected to mention about on-demand licenses is they only work for SDK versions of SDK from 11.x on up. If you're running a version of SDK like SDK 10 or below, on-demand licenses of any type will not work. So domestic Canada users, feel free to take a 6-month home use bundle license one time, do your SDK learning outside of your actual SDK work. And then the final thing is the SDK add-on modules license. Those allow you to choose certain SDK add-on module licenses that you would like to try in your work environment for things that you think might be helpful for you in the type of things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So you can get a 14-day license. You can try it out, see how that might fit in with, what you do in your work. And those are host ID tied, though. You will need to enter your host ID when you request those. And so as far as SDK licensing goes, that's about all I had to cover.
Okay, great. So permanent license for everybody forever. Home use bundle for domestic U.S. and Canada for non-work purposes. And if you're a customer, you get the work from home license, and that will cover everything that you need for that. And if you aren't a current customer, you can do a trial either through the download with what we just showed here or via the cloud for 2 weeks for whatever you want to do. Awesome. Thanks, Nancy. Hopefully that will empty out your inbox a little bit so you can spend some time working on some other things. All right, Craig, I think we're going to turn it over to you now, and you're going to talk a little bit about that learning aspect that Nancy had touched on with you want to use this to further your knowledge of SDK, and how do you do it?
Yes. So you've already got your SDK downloaded. You've already got it installed, licensed, and all that. And now you're looking at it and you're like, what am I going to do? This doesn't make any sense to me. You have certainly our YouTube channel, youtube.com/analytical graphics, that you can get tips and tricks on. but we actually have various training options for you. All of our in-classroom trainings and online trainings can be found at agi.com/training. So this is the table here. Now we're doing a lot of virtual trainings right now. We don't have any classroom training set up, but they're mostly in the spring and fall time period. And you'll just sign up for those. You just click register now, and it'll take you to your agi.com account. And you'll just register, click a link, and then you're good to go. We have both online and in-classroom options for you, so depending on how you learn. So if you hover over one of the trainings, it doesn't matter which one, any of these, it brings up exactly what you're going to cover in that training. So this goes for both classroom and virtual training, which I'll get into in a minute. But and this is a virtual training class. So this is explaining exactly what you're going to do in our virtual training class. If there's any extra material, it's shown there as well. So we do have virtual options if you want to get yourself set up and get up and running, and that is in our help. So if you go to help.agi.com and you click this help button, and then you click the training book. The trainings are broken down into level 1, level 2, and level 3. The idea here is that level 1, obviously, is going to be your beginner training. It's going to basically take you from not knowing anything about STK, and at the end of it, you're going to know something about STK. Our advanced training is going to take and build on that beginner part of it, and then start teaching you more about our other modules, like our comm module, our radar module, and our astrogator module. And then our L3 focus is more focused on, diving a little bit deeper into those modules. And then even in L3, it's broken down again into problem specific. And the problem specific is actually trying to solve a problem, something that may span across multiple modules. So something like, how's the position accuracy in mountainous terrain? That's going to use not only coverage, but also communications as well. I'm going to back up here and I'm going to do level 1 beginner here just to show you what's involved. This one does include, this is going to require a free license. So anything that you would want to, if you have a free license, you can do all of this stuff and just walk through it. Let's say you want to start with creating a scenario. Click this little blue button, little blue link. It brings you into our part 1, modeling complex systems, but basically you're going to start getting a scenario. These lessons all have a video, so if you learn best that way, you can try it that way. You can click play and it'll pop up, and then you can learn with one of our instructors that's walking you through. Kind of simulates a live training, but it is on demand there watching the video. Then we have this, and the way this is set up is that there are drop downs. So you can try to create a scenario on your own, and sometimes we found that people who are trying it on their own and try to figure it out on their own, and they either can't, or it's just too difficult, then they learn the steps a little bit better, and then you drop this down and it gives you the exact steps on how to do it. So you can try it on your own, and if you can't get it, you can always use these drop downs, and it will give you more information. If you don't want to worry about clicking every drop down, you can click this button here at the top, which expands all. It expands everything on the page, and then you're ready to go. If you click it again, it will collapse everything, and it will be just as you saw it when you loaded the page the first time. So that's our beginner training. Our advanced training, then you can see it. You're going to need different licenses for that one. That one's going to require a lot of licenses, actually, because you're going to need astrogator, you're going to need comm, you're going to need radar. Each one goes through the different modules, and you can see on the right-hand side here which ones and which modules you'll be going through in that lesson. So again, same thing like it was in the L1. You're going to get your video, and then you're going to have your steps written or closed up in a collapsible environment here. And then if you need to, you can try it on your own, and then if you're not, you mess it up or you don't know how to do it, you can expand it, and then there are the steps to how to do it. The L3 focus is slightly different in that it is broken down in a giant table here that goes through the different modules: Pro, Analysis Workbench, Comm, Radar. And if you click these, yes, they are going to have the video. So that is similar to our L1 and L2. But we do not have expandable, collapsible text on this one. This is just flat text, and you can just walk through the tutorial that way. So you do see at the end of view contours, this is about what you should be seeing in your STK, just to kind of give you a guideline, let you know that you are doing things correctly. At the end of the lesson, if you want to continue on your training, you can, most lessons, I hope this one has it, they have related topics. So if you want to learn a little bit about a Gaussian antenna, but then also we have all kinds of other help pages that you may be interested in. And then I'm going to show you an example of the problem specific and why how these are broken up here. So here it is: sensor design in STK, using STK Connect to plan a predator mission. And you can see on the right-hand side that it does use a variety of modules here. Trade studies in mountainous terrain. But the one that I enjoy the most is where is the International Space Station? So you can learn how to figure out where the International Space Station is going to fly over your house at what time and where to look and all that. So that's a great little first using exercise there. If you want to, you just plug in your address in our STK software and you can learn where the ISS is going to be. We also have programming examples. Yes, Shannon, you want to jump in?
No, I was just unmuting myself.
We also have programming tutorials as well. So if you are a programmer, you can get up and running using the object model and all kinds of things like that. So, but these are mostly PDFs. So there are some options for you. And then if you see something on here or you have something specific, do not hesitate to call us or email us. We would love to help you out. T&E training is in the T&E help, but if you run more specific T&E training or test and evaluation toolkit training, that's an example of where we may need to have some more custom training. Also, if we go back to help.agi.com, we don't have just help on STK. We also have it in some of our other modules like OD. So if we load the OD help, it'll look very similar to STK, where there will be a training book just like this. And then these also have printable PDFs and then step-by-step walkthrough guides, just like you would see in STK. I think that's it for me. Once you you get up and running with training, then the next logical step is what Shannon, I think, is going to talk about, and that is certification.
So what do you do after you take training? You can go ahead and take STK certification. So if I go to agi.com and I click on training at the top of your screen here, you see Get Certified. You can see that we have STK certification and ODTK certification. I'm going to focus mainly on the STK certification, but do know that there is an ODTK certification. There's a level 1 ODTK certification, and that was new just about a year ago. So we go ahead and take that if you're interested in ODTK. But I'm going to click on STK certification, and it'll bring me down to the bottom of that page. So I guess to give you a little bit of history, I'm going to guess that Josh, you were once an STK rocket scientist, right?
He doesn't want to admit that.
So previous to 2014, if you got certified, there was one level and you became an STK rocket scientist. When we revamped our training curriculum early on in 2014 to the level 1, level 2, and level 3 training lessons, we also added an entry-level STK certification, and we called them level 1 STK certification and level 2 STK master certification. Then those levels were so popular and our customers were asking for more, we added the additional level 3 STK Grand Master certification. I guess it was in the beginning of 2018. So 3 levels of certification. So they each build on each other. So once you become level 1 certified, you can then take level 2. And then once you take level 2, you're ready to take the level 3 certification tests. I say tests because there are 7 tracks, and we will get into that. So level 1 certification covers the fundamental skills that are necessary to use the free version of STK. So once you go through the level 1 beginner training, you're ready to take the level 1 test. You will build a scenario, you'll generate reports, you'll record a video, add some stuff to the timeline view, and then you'll submit that scenario to get level 1 certified. Once you're level 1 certified, you'll want to go and try to become an STK master. That covers the more advanced skills that are necessary to productively use STK's core add-on module. So again, once you've gone through the level 2 advanced training lessons, you're ready to take this test. It'll go through STK Pro, Analysis Workbench, Coverage, COM, Radar, Aviator, and Astrogator. In this test, you'll build up 4 scenarios, and there is a bonus, and then you'll answer multiple choice questions for each of those scenarios that you build. We ask some questions there. If you pass, or when you pass the level 2 certification, you can then start to become a Grand Master. So the STK Grand Master certification contains 7 tracks that cover the use of STK's specialized add-on modules. So if I click on Learn More here, and I scroll down, it'll start to tell you the tracks that we have. So each track has a unique set of recommended tutorials in those level 3 trainings that Craig showed you. And then when you're successful in completing 4 of the 7 tracks of your choosing, so any 4 of the tracks, and you pass all 4 tracks, then you become an STK Grand Master. You are welcome to complete all 7, but once you pass 4 of the 7, you will become a Grand Master. So in that track, you go through, when you pass a track, you again go through some lessons and then answer some multiple choice questions, and that's how you submit that track for level 3. So you might be saying, okay, what do these certifications cost me? They're actually free, just like the licenses we were talking about earlier. So when you register for a test, you receive the test PDF and the instructions on how to submit the test, but you also receive the licenses that you need to take that test. So for level 1, it's just a free license. You have 14 days to complete that track with your free STK license. For the level 2 and each level 3 track, when you register for certification, you receive an on-demand license that includes all the modules needed to complete that for those 14 days. On average, the level 1 test takes about 2 to 4 hours to complete. The level 2 and each level 3 track can take up to 8 hours, so we suggest don't take it in one sitting. Sit down, do maybe 1 or 2 of the exercises, take a break, and then come back. But once you complete your certification, we give you a certification kit for each level. So along with the accomplishment and the prestige of becoming STK certified, you will also receive an STK certified kit. So I can kind of show you what you're going to get. For level 1, you receive a STK certification certificate, and then you also receive a lanyard and a level 1 pin. Even better than that prize, you're actually invited to join our LinkedIn STK certified group. This is a group that offers a great way to connect with other STK certified users to share in your STK knowledge. So that's a great benefit of becoming level 1 certified. When you become level 2 certified, you receive personalized certificate, and also you receive a track 2 pin to add to your lanyard, and you receive an AGI insulated stainless steel water bottle that are quite popular around the office. And then when you complete level 3, each track that you complete, you receive a track pin, and you receive a small glass cube. These are the bigger cubes, but you receive a small glass cube for each track. And then when you complete your 4th track, you receive the pin for the level 3, and you also receive this bigger cube when you become level 3 Grandmaster certified. So I think I went through everything, so let's have a little guess. How many people do you think have been certified, or how many certifications have been achieved over the past 5 years? Any guesses?
Wait, I'm gonna write everybody should write their answer down.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
9. Josh, you are wrong.
Oh.
I don't have anything to write down. Hold on.
That was my problem. I'll use the good old envelope.
Wow, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, nope. Do you guys want to know?
Yes.
Yes.
10,000 certificates we've given out, certifications, 10,000 in the past 5 years.
That's what I said.
So we really, yeah, that's a big number.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's an overwhelming response to certification, so I suggest become a part of that group. A lot of people in that LinkedIn group there.
Yeah, FOMO. You better catch up if you're not already certified. There's a lot of jobs that you see on LinkedIn. If you search for STK, there are people hiring as a job skill. They're listing STK certification. So do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
About the licenses you get when you get certified. Say I got the trial licenses if I wasn't a customer, and I learned STK a little bit of my own in those trial licenses, and those were 2 weeks, and they expired. I can still get the licenses again to get certified through the certification process, correct?
Yeah. So if you get a license through the eval process, or even like a home use license, and you're beyond the expiration date for those, you receive a brand new license when you register for certification.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for that. I don't want to date myself, but I actually helped write the original STK certification and used to do quite a bit of trainings, and they were not even close to as good as they are now. You guys have really taken this to the next level and done a great job making this a very thorough training, certification, the process. I always say them together because they're kind of linked, but the training and the certification is really awesome. And if you're not, you should get certified.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.